All right, guys, yesterday I finally had a chance to see the finale for Game of Thrones. I actually went away over the weekend to do a travel write-up for Royal Caribbean. My other hat is a full-time writer, so sometimes my job takes me away, so I was a day late. And I have to say, it didn't end the way that I wanted. There were some really great moments in the finale. I want to talk it through with you guys, and I'm just dying to see what your perspective was over the way people sort of let off in the finale. I'm going to kick it off with Jon Snow because I think, not that everyone thought that he would sit on the throne, but I mean, it sort of felt in the beginning that he was going to be the guy, right? And what ends up happening is Jon Snow, through years of battles and being told that he should lead and having one sign after the other get placed right in front of his face. This is your calling. This is your duty. This is what the people need. It's beyond you. It's above you. He still cannot realize or get it together and put it in his life. Put it in order, put the puzzle pieces together, that this is what he needs to do. And listen, he does the honorable thing. He sacrifices himself for the world. He kills Dany. And by doing so, he puts himself in a predicament. But there are so many other ways that he could have taken control of the throne, and he chose not to do it because he didn't want the throne. He would have rather died. He would have rather become a prisoner for life than take the throne because he was a wuss. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it. He was a wuss. And that's what the writers wanted. They wanted Jon Snow to go out taking the easy way out, and that was the easy way out. It was easier for him to get banished to the wall and then eventually choosing to live out his life with the wildlings than to sit on the throne and to make the hard decisions and to be king of all kings for the rest of his life. He chose the easier path in his mind, which was to kill the love of his life. And I was sitting there and I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He don't want to be king that much that he'd rather choose banishment or death over the throne. He don't have it in him that much. That bothered me, and I'm sorry. And also, by the way, banishment into the tundra, literally kill me. Kill me over banishment in the tundra. I was sitting there and I was like, the wildlands don't have a camp in Tampa? Like, you got to go up north. Do they not have something in the south? Boca? Do they have a camp in Boca? Why are we going to the tundra north? I would literally do anything but go to the tundra north. No, thank you. So that was like number one, that I was like, he don't want to be king. Like, he can't say it. I'm the first Targaryen. I'm the firstborn. I'm riding this dragon right now. Can't you all see I'm a Targaryen? Look, the dragon's riding me. There's so many different ways he could have did it, but he chose not to do it. And that bothered me so much. I was like, why won't you just do this? That's number one. I didn't like it. Number two, Cersei. I was so upset. They're in that little meeting. They're choosing the king, and her brother, a Stark, is chosen to be king of all kings on the Iron Throne. And she's sitting there and she's visibly shaking. She's in a panic. They have her in a panic. You can see they chose to show her. She was visibly unhappy that nobody was calling for her because she assumed it would be her. And she said, I'm sorry, for thousands of years the North has been a separate kingdom, and I choose to keep us a separate kingdom because she wanted to be queen. She selfishly wanted to be queen, even though a Stark would have still ruled the North. Her brother would have still ruled the North. If anybody else would have been on the Iron Throne, I would have been like, yes, Sansa, you keep the North, because a Stark should always rule the North. But a Stark was going to rule the North. That king was going to rule the North. And she chose to keep it for herself. And, actually, now that I'm talking this through, I guess I'm going to pretend, this is the first time I actually said, I saw this really late at night. I'm going to pretend that she was thinking generationally ahead. And she was thinking after this generation, they have to choose another king. And she was thinking ahead and keeping the North separate. So when the second king comes, just in case it's not a Stark, she's securing the fact that the North will always be led by Starks. I'm going to pretend that's what happened and not that she was visibly shaking and angry that she was the queen. And I don't think that that's what happened. I think she just wanted to be queen. And I don't think she was thinking ahead for the Starks generation. I think she was thinking for herself. But let's pretend she was thinking about the Starks in the future. But that's not what happened, and we know it. Okay. So Brienne of Tarth writing the book about Jaime Lannister, and she's writing all great things. Sorry, that is not real. Sorry. Okay, maybe I'm like just really a horrible person. I don't know what it is, but like I'm from Queens and I would be like this. He slept with his sister. He took my virginity and left me the next day. He's an awful person. I would just, the tea would be like all over that book. She's like, he's honorable. He's a great man. He fought the war. I was like, what is she writing? She's writing good things about Jaime. He slept with him. I would have wrote awful things in that book, and I would have sealed it with a kiss. My lipstick, I would have been mwah on that book. And she wrote all these amazing things, and I was sitting there and I was like, I'm a really bad person. I'm a really bad person because I'm looking at this book and I think she's ridiculous what she's writing. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a bad person because that's not what I would have wrote if that was my scenario. You sleeping with me and then you're going back to your sister to protect her, the sister that you sleep with? That's not what's being written in that book. So I was like watching that scene and I was hysterical laughing. I was like, okay, all right, that's happening. But that's not here or there. That's not like moving the plot forward. I just thought that was a funny moment. The two scenes actually made me cry. So, okay. So the best scene of the whole entire finale, I thought, was when the dragon saw that Dany was dead, and then he went to burn. It looked like he was going to burn Jon Snow, but then he burned the Iron Throne, as if to say, "Look, you did all of this for nothing. You did this for this stupid throne." And this throne is useless. This throne was not worth it. The throne was not worth it. You died. My mother died for nothing. And if she can't have the throne, then nobody can have it. I was bawling. And I can't even think about it. It was so sad. So I thought that was a really powerful scene. I thought it was really well done. And, you know, it's like a scene without words, but it was really well done. And he was basically, he was mourning her, and that was the only way he could mourn her. And I thought that was really, because you can see there was also a really great connection. I was crying yesterday. And then the other scene that I thought was really beautiful, and I didn't cry because the scene itself was beautiful. I cried because I felt like the actors were crying because they were saying goodbye. I need therapy, okay? So I cry a lot when I watch movies. The scene when they were apologizing to Jon Snow, the sisters, and they were saying, we're sorry, this was the best thing that we could do. We know we failed you. And they were all saying goodbye. I cried because I felt like they were actually saying goodbye, the actors. Like they were all like recognizing this was the last season. And it wasn't that the scene was sad. I was just sad for the actors because they grew up together. These were little kids that started and now they're adults, and some of them got married along the way, and they really bonded as people. And I thought that they were really saying goodbye as people, not in the scene. Okay. So that was that. So those two scenes made me sort of tear up a little bit because I said that was touching, but not because of what was happening in the scene. I just felt like the actors were really having a moment. And I felt that. And then the dragon, I thought, was also just a really powerful moment. And they showed Cersei and Jaime in the rubble. I swear to God, I thought Cersei was going to stand up. So if you saw my other Game of Thrones reviews, I wanted Cersei to be the last woman standing. And you're like, what? She's so evil. How could you want that? Because I thought to myself, what a great ending to have Cersei still be on the throne, being like, all you guys have been fighting for the last 8 years, whatever. You spent all your money, you killed all your people, and here I am still sitting on the throne. Like what? And what? Here I am. This is still my palace. And so I just thought that would have been a really great ending, to be like, you guys, you do not have it on the Lannisters. It is still us. And I just thought that would have been an excellent way to end. So when they showed her in the rubble, I was like, she's gonna stand up. She's gonna stand up. But she was still dead. I was really upset. So I had like a little glimmer of hope during the finale that she was gonna stand up, but she didn't. I was like, oh, and then she didn't. And I was like, oh. But anyway, it was nice how they showed them like dying together, even though it was totally disgusting. Like, we try not to think about the fact that they're brother and sister, but I don't know. I get really confused about myself with them, because I'm like, oh, they love each other, brother and sister. So that whole thing is like really weird. This is the other last thing that I want to say that I thought, I was like laughing in bed again. So, you know, he's like, Bran the Broken, are you ready to take on the role as king? And then Bran's like, why'd you think I'd come all this way? And then I thought to myself, I was like, can you imagine if this was some deep ploy from Bran like 8 years ago, and he's like down low wanting to be king the whole time, and he's like puppet master just trying to get to the crown, and everything that he's doing is like all like Raven Eye, like white Raven Eye, trying to like manipulate the game just to get him to the crown, because he's like future history seer or whatever, and like everything that happened in the last 7 seasons, he's actually a bad person and all he wanted to do was be a king. That's not what happened. But like, of course, I'm a horrible person, and this is like, I was like, if I had the power, I would totally do that. That's not what happened. That's not what they did in Game of Thrones. But that thought came across my mind. I was like, that's why I came here all along. I was like, he knew all along that he would end up to be king, because he has this foresight. So I was like, every battle, every turn, every death, he knew the outcome would be king. So he was just pushing along his destiny, right? So I was like, that's why you came all along. Oh my gosh, so you just knew this whole, all these years, everything that's been going on has been for him. That was really interesting. I thought that was really interesting. And he's just also like super weird. I mean, I guess out of all of them, if I had to choose without Jon Snow, I did not want Arya. I know everyone's all like women's rights, we all want Arya. I did not want Arya. She's like the least person I wanted to sit on the throne. You know, Dany was like psychotic. I absolutely did not want Dany. Sansa to me made sense. You know, there weren't a lot of options. I guess at the end, I wanted Cersei so bad, but when Cersei died, I was just lost. I did not know who I wanted. So I guess Bran. I mean, I guess I'm okay with it. But it didn't really, I'm not leaving with a good feeling. I'm not leaving with a good ending, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It happened and it's over, and I wonder if what HBO is going to do at this point. I mean, they need a big showstopper. They need to come out with something humongous. And because there's a lot of people that are going to be left wanting, empty feelings. But what did you guys think? Were you happy with this ending? I mean, like I said, I'm not like angry. My Game of Thrones ended last week because when Cersei died, I was out of the pool. I lost the pool bet because I wanted her to be on the throne. So once she died, I stopped caring, to be really honest with you. That was my ending for me. Last week when she died, I was out. So this ending, to me, I was just sort of like, whatever happens, I don't care, because it already happened for me. I wanted her on the throne. When Jon killed Dany, I knew one of them was going to stab each other in that moment, because he didn't want to kiss her last week. So why would he kiss her this week? It's sort of a neutral feeling for me. I didn't love it and I didn't hate it. I felt neutral. And I don't know if that's a great feeling for a show. I feel like we should have had 12 episodes. 18 episodes, you know, this is our last run, but that's the way the cards were dealt, and we have to deal with them. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment below, and that's it.